I knew Batman on the TV before I ever knew there was such a thing as a comic book. I mean, I was barely 2 when the show came on. It's one of my earliest childhood memories, or more like impressions, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then you just get older. You start going into some different titles. Like I said, the comic book wasn't a whole lot like the TV show, so I probably drifted a bit at that point. Took on, Iron Man, Captain America, and a lot of Marvel titles and stuff. And by the time I was in the 80s, I was playing in bands. Now I went on to music. I traded in the comic books for, playing keyboards in a rock band. I remember standing in line, waiting to see the '89 film. You're like, okay, it's a new Batman, let's see what this is going to be like. And it's got a Batmobile, it should be kind of cool. And see like a live action Batman. I think that's what I thought I was hungry for. Standing in line with my lead vocalist, and he was wearing an Adam West pin on his lapel. Because those were fashionable in the 80s, they had these pins. And he had this one of Adam West's head on it, and I was like looking at it, going, oh man, that's so cool. God, that's really cool. I think I was more excited about that pin than the movie when I got out, And I just kind of noticed every time I would see like a picture from the series or something of the old Batmobile or something like that, I would kind of feel this kind of like, oh, that's cool. And then you see, Batman, looking, frowning in the comics and just being so dark and so brooding and just so damaged. It didn't really interest me on that end. But I did get the Keaton suit. And it was just strictly Halloween. It wasn't like I never did a convention in a costume. I never went into, like this regular public outing in costume. It was always a Halloween type function. In the late 90s, my wife and I, we got a house. And I now have like my own room, my own little space where I have my keyboards and musical instruments, and I can record, and my computer where I can do graphics and all the little fun stuff I do in my studio. I just started seeing some action figures here and there. I thought, I'm just going to spice up the room a little bit. I'll have a little this one, and I'll have a little Batman over here and a Silver Surfer over here. It just evolved into where I ended up having like 200 things all across the room. And I wanted to get I said, it'd be cool to put a Batmobile in here. A 60s Batmobile. And I wasn't doing like eBay or anything like that. Went to San Diego Comic-Con, and I found one. It just ended up being the #1 Batmobile, the original Batmobile on display. I had no idea it was going to be there. And that's where it all really just came to. I was watching on the screens that they have where they're showing the DVD, and you're seeing like the color and the costumes and the action and that Batmobile. That just was just really inspiring. So I started thinking that, man, wouldn't it be cool to have a costume like that? And I became a member on this message board, the 1966 message board. That's really where my education really, really started to take off. There's just so many people filled with knowledge on there. And I met Wally, this guy who'd done costuming and so forth. They just got finished doing this huge event out in Houston where they had the villains and Batman and Robin and Batgirl and all that. And it just looked like that was like, that looks really cool. And I thought it'd be cool to kind of join up with those guys and kind of do something. But all I could afford was a cowl. So I stuck it in my head for a picture. I didn't even have a suit yet, but I had fabric for the cape. And I wrapped it around my head like, like this. And wrapped it around like as if I had the cape and posted that up on the board. And Wally wrote to me instantly, he goes, you know what, this year for Comic-Con, forget about False Face, you be Batman. So the pressure was on. I actually was able to piece together my first bat suit, which is not even really the same bat suit that I wear now. I had no idea what I was in for. I'd never seen anybody in an Adam West suit before at a convention or anything like that. So I didn't know how people really reacted to that. And we hit the floor. We didn't even hit the floor. We didn't even get out of the hotel where people were stopping us for our photo. I honestly don't think I really sound like Adam, other than I think I give you enough of a reference to something that was familiar, a cadence, and a little more of a silky baritone and purpose and very cautious speaking. Of course, if you have something that's really happening, there's a certain